What's up, guys? That Really Gross Guy here, and we are back playing Warframe. So, I'm a little salty right now, because I've tried recording this game twice. First time, computer crashed, corrupt my save. Second time, I was doing a sabotage, and I ran with the fire, the explosive mode on accident. I accidentally put the red one in, the thingy. And I literally the frustration of getting to the end of the mission and avoiding myself, literally just slowly getting killed by the fire, frustrated me so much that I lost my train of thought. So let's hope this video goes better than the last few. But the first one was actually good. I literally was about to do my outro when the computer crashed, and I hit all my points. I said everything I needed to say, and then boom, computer gone, crashed, whatever. So frustrated. But anyways, just real quick, going through the info on what I'm running and what I'm doing. I am running a Ashe with mostly a toxic focus, just because it's not an endgame build, it's not any of that kind of stuff. It's literally a build that I take out because I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I'm running the Sobek, which I really like. I know it's not the most powerful shotgun in the game, but it is. I love its high magazine count, and it's pretty decent. I mean, it's definitely it definitely can make its way through pretty much any mid-tier mission, and I'm sure it can do fairly well with the appropriate build through more endgame stuff. But I understand that everyone wants to run the Heck or the Tigress Prime and all that stuff, which I totally get, because I love those weapons as well. But this one to me fits Ashe's personality, so that's why I've been running him the way I have. Let's get this going, take these guys out, these stupid bald cavats, these ugly looking freaking rodents. Ba-bow. Alright, so yeah, so I'm running the Sobek. I'm also running the Oxani, which I really like, another high magazine count weapon, a relatively vicious weapon. I like to think of this as kind of like a vicious Ashe build where he's very in your face and all that, which is also why I run the Venkas. Very savage, I guess, kind of a savage Ashe. That'll probably be the name of the video. But anyways, with all of that said, I kind of want to talk a little bit about Oberon, and kind of a little bit of thoughts that I've had as I've started to level him up. I'm taking a break from leveling him at the moment because I've dropped a Forma into him, and he's I'm starting to see a clearer picture of kind of his abilities and how well they scale and whatnot. And with that in mind, when it comes to scaling, I feel like his one ability sounds good when you hear enemies scaling, but in practice, it really doesn't. It doesn't do as much damage as it sounds. Now, I guess the way it works is the initial damage dealt is a specific number, and then the orbs do a specific number, or do a percentage. I guess that's how it works. So it makes it seem like, you know, you're gonna get up into a mission like Mott, and because it does a percentage, you know, it's going to do fairly well. Now, I feel like it doesn't do all that much damage when you're getting into level 50 enemies and all that stuff. I feel like the damage dealt isn't as good as it sounds on paper. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong. Maybe I need to tweak my power strength. But yeah, I'm not too sure how to mod for that. I'll tell you how I'm modding my Oberon here in a second. But with that said, also his fourth ability, with the whole armor reduction quirk to it, or gimmick, I guess you'd call it. To me, it doesn't seem like it really does all that much. Now, armor reduction's great and all, but I'm not seeing too much of a difference. Like I said, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I feel like, like I said, it's another ability that sounds good on paper, but in practice, it's not all that fantastic. Now, with that said, I feel like his first ability, or not his first ability, his second and third ability work pretty well together, and they're actually really good. His regeneration of his health actually is high enough that as long as you don't get yourself in a really bad situation, he's kind of tanky with that ability enabled. I find myself going up against a fairly decent amount of enemies, as long as I'm not standing in front of like a heavy gunner. I find myself keeping my health up well enough to take care of all the enemies that I need to. Now, with that in mind, he's kind of energy intensive. He drains quite a bit of energy out of your energy pool in a fairly quick amount of time, and that's one downside I see from him. So the fact that like Smite and his fourth ability, if you do utilize those in your build and you're using up all that energy, I feel like you're gonna run out of energy too quickly, and you'd be better off not using your, at least your four ability. You'd be better off not using that ability and utilizing that energy towards health regen and using weapons that are much more deserving of your time than, like I said, than casting your 4 ability. I would rather use up ammo out of like an explosive weapon to do that area damage rather than using my 4, using 100 energy without mods to do that area damage. Like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe there's something I'm not doing quite right. I am kind of curious how you guys are doing your builds. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Now, like I said, I am running him now with a regeneration build. So Phoenix Renewal is a great way to go if you have the mod space and if you really want to use that slot, because he's going to regenerate. Even if for some reason you're caught off guard, you turn a corner and you get a bombard not taking you down, and a heavy gunner just spamming his trigger finger. I feel like that Phoenix Renewal will give you that revive that you really need, and as long as you don't die again in 90 seconds, I think it is. I don't know if mods come into play with that, but when that cooldown goes away, you're good to go again for the possibility of not having to use a revive again. So I feel like that's a great way to go. Now, I can't really speak on the whole Kavat and Kubro benefits because I haven't really been paying attention to any of that. I haven't been running with allies, with all Kavats and Kubros. And like I said, I haven't been paying attention to the damage numbers that my Kavats and Kubros are doing, so I can't really speak on that behalf. But I do like the health regen aspect of... Let's get this in there. Thank you. I do like the health regen aspect of Oberon right now. But those other abilities are not don't really pique my interest. Now I'm wondering if DE did that to make sure that the four ability spamming doesn't come back. Maybe that's why they're not, you know, the damage isn't so great on that, which is understandable. But I would love to see, keep the damage the same. I'm fine with that, but I would love to see his armor reduction a little bit better than it is. Also, also, like I said, his Kavat and Kubro stuff might be decent, but I would like to explore the stats and the actual percentages that Oberon benefits from his passive. Now, I get why he's not incredibly overpowered, and I talked about this in my Oberon rework video. Maybe it's just because Oberon is a fairly easy frame to get, which is why, you know, he's still fairly mediocre. Now that's arguable. You might have a really good build, and I get that. But for the most part, they've kind of kept Oberon a little bit underwhelming. And I think that makes sense. You can't have every Warframe in the same playing field, especially when there are some Warframes that are just much more difficult to build and go out and farm. So I get that. I definitely get that. Now what I'm curious about and kind of hoping for is I would love to see, because Priest Frame, aka Haro, is coming out, and is he going to... I'm kind of curious, because him being a priest frame, some kind of support frame, I would love to see a support aspect that maybe Oberon doesn't fill. Now, I don't want him to replace Oberon, but I would love to see, instead of him being maybe a health regen, they've been talking about kind of a shield thing, and if he was like a shield regen frame, or like an overshield frame, I would love to see something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. I know I'm going the wrong way. I just wanted to check. Maybe I find a sculpture. Who knows? But I'd love to see something when it comes to Priest frame. Be pretty cool. Now, I don't know if they're gonna do it. I'm gonna get into another game because I have a little bit more to talk about. Because I mean, Priest frame. Come on. But I'm kind of curious if he is going to be a support frame, and what I mean by that is I'd love to see some kind of either elemental resistances. Maybe he can do something along those lines where like he can ward off all incoming elemental stuff, you know, fire procs, ice procs, stuff like that. That would be cool. Or status procs. If he could, because, you know, being a priest and he can absolve you of your sins, it's kind of a joke. But if he was capable of removing poison procs, or you know, or keeping you from being stunned by electric procs, or the radiation thing, which can be a big deal in like a sortie or something like that. But maybe his focus can be like a status reduction, elemental reduction type build that can be very viable as a support frame. Like I said, that might be really, really useful in some of those like elemental sorties, or I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that. I'm kind of hopeful for Priest frame, but like I said, we have no idea what he's actually going to be built for. I mean, supposedly there was a data mine and all that stuff, but I don't really trust any of that. Who knows what's really going on? To be honest, if I was a game developer, I'd throw information in there just to troll, just to be a troll, because I feel like it's inappropriate. It's a shady kind of thing to go in and look into information like that. Now, this is coming from a slight background in game production. I mean, I went to college to do it. I changed my major because I couldn't code. I understand that you can delve into the code of some things and do stuff like that to figure things out. I don't know. I don't feel like it's the nicest thing for a person to do. I don't know. It is what it is. But anyways, we don't actually know what's going on with Priest Frame. We don't know if he's going to be a support class. We don't know really anything about him, to be honest, other than what his concept art basically looks like. But with that said, like I said, I would also like, instead of like a status reduction. Now I don't think they're going to go this route because they already kind of did that with Warframe, aka Octavia. Is like a stat buff frame, because she's a bard, kind of reminds me of like the Final Fantasy bard frame where she can increase, your attack or your speed or your defense or any of those things. You know what I mean? Let's get another one of these going. I need to keep this on more often, that 4 ability. But I think that would be cool. I think he would be a really cool, like shield-oriented overshield frame that's like a very defensive support frame where he kind of I don't want to say sits in the back because I love to see him get some love when it comes to like damage dealing. But maybe he kind of sits in the back with like a summon or a pet type thing, and then he overshields or shield regenerates your allies, and then on top of that provides like a stat buff or an attack buff or something like that, or like I said, a elemental / status resistance thing. Would be kind of cool. So maybe he'll be similar to Oberon in support, but at the same time much different. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I think that's about all that needs to be said about that. I do want to mention kind of a self-plug. I mentioned Final Fantasy a moment ago, and I want to reintroduce on my channel Final Fantasy 14, and I haven't been playing that because I haven't renewed my subscription, but I've considered trying to get back into that. Now, I had a friend basically make a donation to the channel because they want to see Final Fantasy 14 make a return to the channel. So I want to play that on the channel again. I'm not too sure if I'm going to follow the story, which I was doing previously. I'm going the wrong way. Not too sure if I want to pick up where I left off and just continue playing the story, or if I should level up a character and start doing dungeons for the channel. But if you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know. Make sure you support that channel, because if it does well, I'll keep on playing it. And at the same time, I know the expansion is coming out. I have Heaven's Ward, and I haven't even touched it, so I want to get into that. But the expansion will be coming out at some point. And if the game does fairly well on the channel, I would like to play it every once in a while. I would like to get into, the heart of Final Fantasy a little bit more, because I've been playing that franchise, like, I've been playing pretty much played every game. So, with that said, expect some Final Fantasy 14 on the channel, and maybe in the future some other Final Fantasy games, because I know most of them pretty much, like, all the way through, and I want to play some of them. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know, like I said, about Oberon. Let me know if you have seen my Final Fantasy gameplay. Maybe that's where you originally subscribed from. I'd love to know. I'd love to see if you're interested in that stuff as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. The fact that you watch these videos gives me feedback. I see the views. I see all that stuff. The subscriptions increasing. And I can see what you guys like. But if you guys mention in the comments and are vocal as well, Big Funky Town, I've been reading a lot of your stuff. I do agree. The Cycron, I'm probably going to run a Gas Blast type build. Thank you for your feedback. I see you all the time in the comments. But I see some of you other guys. I just wanted to point that out because I read a couple of the things that he said and I agree with him. But anyways, I see you guys. I see your names. I remember you guys. I love the feedback. That helps me produce videos. There are things I'm working on based on your feedback. And hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And until next time, guys. Blow!